I'm Brittany Duran, and if you're looking to rewire your mindset and eliminate all the negative thoughts you have, you're going to want to stick around for an inspiring outlook on life provided by author and life coach Rob Cross, who is joining me now. Hey, how are you doing?
Good morning, Brittany. I'm doing great. How you doing out there?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to get your insight in regards to your new book, Flip Your Thinking, and how we can all just change our mindset to be more positive on the when we face those obstacles that we can possibly face every day in life. So let's go ahead and jump right in here. And I want to hear a little bit about your book. Can you tell me about Flip Your Thinking to Ignite Your World?
Sure. The book, I tell you, it goes far beyond positive thinking or motivational. It takes you back to a journey to yourself. It's back to common sense. And isn't that what we all need right now? A little common sense in this turbulent world. The book is really it's the simplest read you'll ever read. It's great. It's packed with gems. You'll love the read, but it really makes you think a lot about uh, you may be doing life upside down, and that's what I realized in my own life years back. I went, holy cow! The things I really want in life, I'm literally pushing them away by how I think. Pain is gain. That's one chapter. To be heard, talk less. To be successful, you got to be willing to fail. Setbacks, those are setups. And that's great news. The setback that you're going through right now, that you just went through, I'm telling you what, if you believe it is, and if you hold it as such, and if you think it as such, it is a setup for something bigger and better. And if you feel stuck in any way, if you feel aimless, if you feel like you're just at a spot you just don't have your direction that you need, uh, consider this. Consider that maybe you're doing things upside down. Maybe all you need is a little flip in your thinking, because your thinking is where it all starts, right? We're like this big train, this big, beautiful train that's riding on this track. It's no matter how big the engine is or how powerful it is, it's going to stay on the tracks. It's not going to go beyond those tracks. Likewise, your struggle and effort and your attempts to be better and bigger, they're not going to go any further than where your thinking will allow you. You are what you think. You have been what you thought. You are what you think, and you will become tomorrow what you will think. So I tell you what, I cannot stress to you how powerful our thoughts are, and we're not even aware of it. The experts estimate that 75% of our thoughts are negative, and most of our thoughts are even unconscious. So I really stress to my readers to become more awake and aware of what you are thinking. And what you're going to discover is that, by golly, I have really been holding back on success for fear of failure. So I haven't been jumping in with both feet. Or, by golly, I've been blaming. I haven't realized that. But wherever you are in your marriage or your work or your business, if you're not where you want to be, what's the reason why? And that reason why is probably who or what you're blaming. And if whoever and what you're blaming, you're giving them your power. It's like they have a remote control to your life, and they got their fat thumb right in the middle of that pause button. You want your power. You want to have the power to go where you want, and it starts with your thinking, what you've made things mean. Very powerful read.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really powerful to think that, your mind and your thoughts can really inspire and uplift your success. It's kind of a page in manifesting, right? We hear that a lot. So I think, yeah, you guys can catch his book on Amazon, Flip Your Thinking to Ignite Your World. And just to talk a little bit more about, how you were inspired to write this book and send this message out to others. I'm curious to hear a little bit about, what inspires you to uplift others and, help others strive for success in their lives?
That's a great question. Thank you. I've always, as long as I remember, I've asked the why not questions. I've always been intrigued with how life works. Why this guy is so handsome and smart, but he's a failure, and this guy is he doesn't seem to have much, but he just goes. How come that happens? What makes all that happen? My own life, I recognized that things weren't working the way I wanted them to work. people weren't doing what I wanted them to do. Can you imagine that, Brittany? Or my life was not going according to my plans. And it really hit me one day, really big, that by golly, it really truly is my thinking and what I have made things mean. And one good example, I didn't think I was a writer. I'm on my third book now, and the first book, Flip Your Thinking, has a great audio book, by the way. If you're an Audible guy or girl, you'll love the audio version. It's very unique and different. But I was not a writer. I was not an author. Nobody in my family was. And so I told myself the story all my life that write a book? No, no. I have all this stuff inside me, and I do help people one-on-one. I do a lot of coaching, but writing a book, not for me, because that's a story I told myself all of my life. Recognize what story you've been telling yourself. You can change the story, because you know what? The story's a lie. It's just something you made up a long time ago. So that's my story with this book. I'm so excited that I'm very humbled actually by all the feedback that I've been getting from folks, because it really does make you stop and get back to common sense. And it's so hard to find these days, the common sense. And trust me, everything is simpler than you think it is. Your solutions and to get from A to B is much simpler than you're probably making it. In your marriage, you're probably overcomplicating the simplest thing we have, and that is love. Love is so simple. And my book goes into detail with each of these and kind of helps you whittle it down back to its core, back to you, back to your thinking, back to you, what you've made things mean. So it's a very intriguing subject, and it's very life-changing, very transformative.
So I'm curious to, ask a little bit more about those, nitty-gritty details that you mentioned there. How can someone get rid of those negative thoughts? Maybe they don't realize that they're holding them back.
Yeah, it's a good question, because 40,000 negative thoughts a day is what it's estimated. That's a lot of negative thoughts, and most of them are unconscious. But you see, the thing that we think about uh, are all the circumstantial issues. We think about all that, but we don't think about what we think about. And isn't that what really propels our boat? Actually, that steers our course, what you think about. So I encourage all of my folks to stop, be still, and recognize when those thoughts come into being. That guy makes me so mad. Wait a second. He doesn't make me anything. Nobody makes me anything. There's no string attached to me and him. When I become aware of these things, then I'm free. I'm free. I have my power back to create the life that I want. Upset, we all experience upset. Recognize when you're upset, what you're upset at, and recognize this one thing about your upset. Every time, without fail, you are upset because life is not going according to your plans. And when you get that, it sets you free. You go, how about them apples? I am upset because they're not saying or doing what I think they should. Let it go. Let go of control. You'll find control in your life when you let go of control.
I love that. Yeah, definitely taking notes on that message right there. So thank you so much for that. And what about, if you can share a little bit about more of a personal experience, something that you put in your book that you experienced personally where you were able to flip your thinking and your mindset?
What I just mentioned, thank you for that question. What I just mentioned about my being an author, I actually flipped that. I actually told myself, I'm not an author because I tell myself I'm not an author, right? So I chose to take control of my thoughts, because if you don't control your thoughts are going to control you. And that's where I was. I got it. I got it, man. And I even told myself a story that I can't make a lot of money because I was raised in a lower middle class family. So it doesn't grow in trees, right? It's scarce. I recognize, as I start to think about what I think about and think about what I've made things mean, that's made all the difference in the world for me, because I do recognize that I'm a big boy and I can change my thoughts. I can decide what I'm going to think. And but you have to first see what it is that you do think, and most of us don't. Most of us just go through life with our efforts, 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 but our thinking always wraps up those efforts and it swallows them up. And we wonder why. We want to go right, but we go left instead. It's because of your thinking. So stop and give that some serious thought about what you do think about. I thought that I couldn't make money, even though I've started 4 businesses in my life. But I recognize now that I entered those I was shooting myself in the foot. You want to lose weight? Well, tell yourself you're losing weight instead of it's going to be hard. Boom, you just shot yourself in the foot. Or it's not my DNA. Boom, you've made it virtually impossible. Uh, Recognize your thoughts. Recognize the self chatter because the chattering of your mind is what's steering your boat.
Well, it definitely sounds like there is so much good information in your book that can help inspire so many people. Again, you guys can find it on Amazon. Flip Your Thinking to Ignite Your World. We really appreciate your time, Rob.